Hygiene is the science of health and its maintenance. Maintenance and promotion of hygiene is a very important aspect of human psychological needs. Many kinds of disease or illness can be prevented by maintaining personal hygiene. If hygiene is promoted and maintained, the individual has a feeling of comfort, well-being, safety, and self-confidence. Into the anatomy and physiology of the skin. Anatomy and physiology of the skin is, it is the largest organ of the body. Then, the function of the skin are as follows. It is the first line of defense against injury and microorganisms. It is maintained body temperature, and it is a secretory organ. It secretes sebum and oily substance which lubricate the hair. So we have two types of sweat glands. These are apocrine and eccrine glands. Apocrine glands are primarily located in the axilla and anogenital areas. They begin to function at puberty under the influence of androgen. The secretion of these glands is odorless but may become musky, unpleasant when acted upon by organisms. And second is the eccrine glands. They are found primarily on the palms of the hand and sole of the feet and forehead. The sweat they produce cools the body through evaporation. The sweat is composed of water, sodium, potassium, chloride, glucose, or lactate.
Factors influencing hygiene. Number 1, social practices. Social practices is a social group influence hygiene preference and practices, including the type of hygiene products used and the nature and frequency of personal care practices. And for example, is by adolescent girls of the type of sanitary pads used during demonstration. And parents and caregiver perform hand hygiene care for infants and young children. So, si social practices daw is ito yung mga types ng hygiene products na ginagamit natin. Katulad ng kaming mga kababaihan is gumagamit ng sanitary pads sa tuwing dinadalaw ng menstruation. Personal preference. Patients have individual preference about when to perform hygiene and grooming care. Patients select different hygiene and grooming product according to personal preference. Knowing patient personal preference promote individualized care. So, si personal preference is ito daw yung mga pasyente or tayo na individual ay may sarili tayong paraan kung paano maglinis sa ating mga sarili. At pumipili din tayo ng iba't ibang produkto, depende na yan sa isang tao kung saan nahihiyang. Dahil hindi mo masasabi na kung ano ang ginamit ng kasama mo is mahihiyang yun sa'yo. Number 3, body image. Body image is a person's subjective concept of his or her body, including physical appearance, structure, or function. Body image affects in the way in which individual maintain personal hygiene. So, si body image is dito daw ito nakikita sa ating katawan, or kumbaga tayo ay may sarili-sarili tayong or may kanya-kanya tayong mga produkto na ginagamit sa paglinis sa ating katawan. So, si body image daw is ito daw yung isang produkto na ginagamit mo sa hand hygiene kung epektibo or kung nahihiyang ka dito. Number 5, health belief and motivation. Knowledge about the importance of hand hygiene and its implication for well-being influence hygiene practices. So, si health belief and motivation daw is ito daw yung tungkol sa kung ano ang kahalagahan ng paglinis sa ating katawan at lalo na sa paghuhugas ng kamay bago magtrabaho or bago makipaghalubilo sa isang pasyente bilang nurse.
Cultural aspects of hygiene.
Abrasion, a superficial scrubbing or rubbing away of the skin. The area look red and may have slight bleeding or clear fluid. Serious leaking. For example, if you trip and fall on the pavement, causing your knee to get scrubbed, that's an abrasion. Excessive dryness. The skin become very dry, scaly, and raw. For example, in cold weather, it's common for the skin on our hands or elbow to become very dry and ragged. Acne is a common skin condition that happens when hair follicles under the skin become college with oil, sebum, and dead skin cells. For example, a teenager going through puberty develops pimples on the forehead and chin. The nursing intervention. Medication assistance. Apply or instruct on the use of topical treatments. Erythema is the redness of the skin caused by increased blood flow to the small blood vessel, capillary near the skin surface. It is usually a sign of irritation, inflammation, or infection. The redness can appear in patches or over a large area, and sometimes it feels warm or swollen. For example, a patient who stays too long in bed without moving develops redness over the lower back, early sign of pressure ulcer. Nursing intervention. Protect the skin. Keep the affected area clean and dry. Avoid friction or pressure over the red area, especially if it's on the back, elbow, or heels. Implementation for patient-centered care. For example, involve the patient in decision making. Don't just tell them what to do. Explain options and tell them participate in choosing their care. Respect patient's preference. Always ask about the patient's wishes, beliefs, and comfort. Maintain privacy and dignity. Protect the patient's body privacy during exam and procedures. Provide individualized care. Avoid one-size-fits-all care. Just the plan depending on the patient's specific conditions and lifestyle.
Skin care.
Hirsutism is the condition where a woman grows excessive dark coarse hair in the areas where men usually grow hair like the face, chest, back, and abdomen. It happens because of increased male hormones, androgens in the body, or the hair follicles becoming more sensitive to those hormones. For example, a 25 years old woman with a PCOS developed thick hair on her chin or chest. In nursing intervention, assessment. Take a thorough history when the hair growth started, how fast it is progressing. Ask about menstruation patterns. Irregular period can suggest hormonal imbalance. Check for other signs of hormone problem. Acne depend voice muscles growth.
Nursing process in the promotion of hygiene. Assessment of self-care ability. Assess a patient's physical status as it relates to ability to perform or assist with hygiene care safely and efficiently. Include assessment of the patient's muscle strength, flexibility, balance, visual acuity, and ability to detect thermal and tactile stimuli. Use of sensory aids. For patients who wear eyeglasses, contact lenses, artificial eyes, or hearing aid knowledge and methods. Assessment of hygiene care practices. Assessment of hygiene practices reveals a patient preference for grooming. Assessment of cultural influence. Asks what makes a patient feel most comfortable during bath or other hygiene measures. Dapat tinatanong muna natin ng ating patient kung saan siya magiging komportable para mas madali ang ating gagawin sa ating patient. Patient at risk for hygiene problem. Some patients present risk that requires more attentive and rigorous hygiene care. Diagnosis. The following nursing diagnoses apply to patients in need of supportive hygiene care. First is activity intolerance, bathing self-care deficit, dressing self-care deficit, impaired physical mobility, impaired oral mucous membrane, risk infection. Planning. Goals and outcomes. Partner with the patient and family to identify goal and expected outcomes to develop a mutually agreed on planned care based on the patient diagnosis. Setting priorities. A patient condition influence your priorities for hygiene care. Teamwork and collaboration. If a patient is hospitalized, planned care be discharged to home, a rehabilitation facility, or extended care. Documentation. Hygiene is a part of basic patient care. When you care in practices to perform hygiene measures, you reduce the patient's anxiety and promote comfort and relaxation. Health promotion. In primary health care situation, educate and counsel patients and caregivers on why proper hygiene techniques are necessary.
Nursing process related to promotion of hygiene. Hygiene care scheduled in acute and long-term care settings. 1. Early morning care. Nursing personnel in the night shift provide basic hygiene to patients getting ready for breakfast scheduled test. 2. Routine morning care. After breakfast, help by offering a bed pan or urinal to patient confine to bed
usage is a large pinch of the skin, subcutaneous tissues, and muscle quickly done.
So in genital or perineal care, it is important for us to follow this for us to prevent infections or to promote comfort and to remove normal perineal cares. And to do this, we have the nursing interventions during the perineal and genital care. So first, we have to inform the patient and explain the purpose of this procedure. So second, we have to provide privacy to maintain the client's dignity. And for the female, dorsal recumbent position and drape the client diagonally, and for male, position them in supine position. For female client, use interior to posterior or the front to back stroke to prevent contamination of the rectal meatus and vagina with microorganisms from the anus. Use 1 cotton ball for each stroke. Cleanse perineum with soap, antiseptic solution, include the inner thigh. Rinse the area with copious amount of water to remove soap adequately and prevent irritation of the perineal area. Dry perineum thoroughly. Moisture supports microbial growth. For the male client, wash and dry penis using firm stroke to prevent erection of the penis. Use circular motion from the tip of gland penis toward the penis shaft. If the client is uncircumcised, retract the prepuce or the foreskin, and after that, wash and dry the scrotum and buttocks. For our foot care, first, we have to wash our feet daily and dry them well, especially the interdigital spaces. Use warm water for foot soak. Use cream or lotion to moisten the skin and soften calluses. We have to file toenails straight across. Change sock or stocking daily. Do not go barefooted. So we have to do this to avoid any infections that may cause our feet. And for our nail care, so as a nursing student, we have to be very strict in our nails, for we are dealing with different patients, and we have to avoid any bacteria that can transfer to the patients. So first, we have to trim nails straight across or follow the contour of the fingers. We have to file nails to have smooth edges, and do not trim nails at lateral corners to prevent wounds. Ingrown is also called unguis incarnatus. And for mouth care, brush teeth thoroughly after meals and at the bedtime. Flush teeth daily. Avoid sweet foods and drinks between meals. Eat coarse, fibrous foods and have dental checkup every month. So we have to do this to avoid any bad breath, and that because we are dealing with different patients, and we may encounter a sensitive patient. So the purpose of brushing and flossing our teeth is to remove food particles around and between the teeth, to remove dental plaque, to enhance the client's feelings or well-being, or to prevent sores and infections of oral tissues. When we deal to unconscious patients, we have to place inside or lying position to prevent aspiration, have suction apparatus readily available, brush teeth and gums, using a toothbrush or soft sponge, apply thin layer of petroleum jelly to lips to prevent drying or cracking. So the common problem of the mouth is the first plaque, the tartar, halitosis, glossitis, gingivitis, or the dental caries. This may be because of the poor hygiene that the person is doing, or they are not maintaining their teeth or the mouth. Hair care, the appearance of the hair may reflect a person's sense of well-being and health status. So this means that when we see a person with a bad hair or with a bald hair, we know that there is something wrong with them. In brushing and combing the hair, stimulates circulations of blood in the scalp. To stimulate the circulation of the blood in the scalp through massage, to clean hair and improve the client's sense of well-being is when we do the hair shampoo. So in eye care, we have to cleanse the eyes from the inner canthus to the outer canthus. If the client is comatose, cover the eyes with sterile moist compresses. Eyeglass should be cleansed with warm water and soap, dried with tissue. Cleanse contact lens as directed by the manufacturer, and avoid rubbing the eyes. This may cause infection. In our ear care, we have to cleanse the pinna with moist washcloth, remove visible cerumen by retracting the ears downward, and we do not use bobby pins, toothpick, or cotton tip applications to remove cerements to avoid the cerumen to be tipped deeply in our ear, and it can cause infections. And lastly, for our nose care, clean nasal secretion by blowing the nose gently into soft tissue. Both nares should be open with blowing the nose to prevent forcing debris into middle ear via the eustachian tube. May use cotton tip, applicator moistens with saline or water to remove extracted dried secretions. Insert only up to cotton up.
And that's all. Thank you for listening.